Join. Oh, we just went right to that.
Yeah, we're just going to jump right in. Just want to make sure I think we are now technically live.
Woohoo! And I got glasses on. I was like, no glasses, but I can't read anything.
I can't see you. You're still.
What? Is that better?
There you go. Hi, Christine.
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
okay.
I can hear you perfectly.
Yay.
I think, let's see if we have any, great, and the dog's barking too.
Yay.
Close that. I don't know if anyone's actually watching us now. We'll find out.
I have a few people who are on their way to the game as well. So that'll be fun. Again, another home game. Weather's better than it was the other day. So it seems like a lot of people are making their way in to the garden.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think we forget that it is winter in New York. Being based in Southern California does have its perks. I think it was close to 70 today.
Oh, well, I tell you, that guy still comes out and tries to get a suntan in 55-degree weather. So I don't get it. I don't know what kind of tan he's going to get. It's still cold, but it's fun to watch. Like, I can just see it like right there. Yeah. So, and every time I see him, I'm like, Alexa, what's the temperature? I have to say that quietly, otherwise she'll answer me. And it's like 55 degrees, which I'm in a sweater, so I'm freezing. So
it's colder in my house. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I think technically the link that we have just goes to our main Double Dfense webpage. So I think I'm going to try to post the link into our Instagram while we are doing this.
Yeah, do a story just to do the.
Yeah, let me just make sure that this link works. One day we'll figure this all out.
Here we are learning stuff. So that's okay, because that's how we get better.
Also such a Monday thing, right? Like, I think.
Oh my God, my Monday. Did not start off
as
good.
I said. No, nor did ours. No. As I said to Sarah, this was the Mondayest Monday that ever Mondayed. So we had a good call. Then we had a couple of good calls.
Yeah. So yeah, it did not start off well. I had not good news, but more so like for my friends and myself, but then then I got a phone call to connect with someone later. Then there was a car chase, so that made my day better. So then I posted a thing about puppies because that makes me smile. And then we have this, and then just to have fun, there was, even though it's sad, like there's this big huge earthquake in Turkey, but they just posted an article saying how it was felt in so many areas, and the graphic, people can check it out as they listen, that looks like a vagina. So
oh my God, sorry, that's so inappropriate.
I know, and I will appropriately send it to you right now so you can see what I'm talking about. That's not it.
And we are just we are also recording this too, so this will be a regular podcast that people can listen to.
Start off the news of the day. It's Monday, so everything happens. It's a bunch of ups and downs, a little roller coaster ride in my mind. Oh, and plus I got my birth certificate. I needed it to go and verify myself. And the funny thing is, I got it, but on the back it allows me to make corrections.
You can just make corrections to your own birth certificate.
Why should I need to correct my birth certificate? I'm a little confused with stuff these days, but yes, that happened.
Weird.
Do you not understand?
This graphic is hilarious, by the way.
It's true. It's just a true thing. So I know things. I don't know what's going to happen by the time this game ends, because the game hasn't even started. It should be fun. Hopefully my friends are going to send me pictures I'll like, and we'll enjoy it. So
yeah, there was like a lot of excitement when I was like reading stuff for the Flames and Rangers today. There's a lot of excitement about the Flames being in that building, and you're not joking. It's such a iconic arena, and I'm getting that more and more as I read these articles. I can't wait to be there. I'm excited.
I think it's because Madison Square Garden's PR is very extreme. So every time you say Madison Square Garden, somebody has to follow it up with the world's most famous arena.
Yeah, that's like in every article.
I think they probably have legally changed the name to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. So you have to like copyright TM.
Smart.
I wonder if because one of the things I like about Madison Square Garden, even on the outside, is how they always have the Ranger colors, Knicks colors. What they can change things. Even the Empire State Building plays game. And have we talked about this? But the Empire State Building has its own social media, so it's pretty funny.
And it's really funny. Yeah, whoever runs the Empire State Building's Twitter account is absolutely brilliant.
Like it's alive. So it's fun. I wish Madison Square Garden would do that too, because I like how it just changes colors to represent nights that they have there, and they take full advantage of it too. So it's I love going there and seeing everything lit up.
That's awesome.
I'm still teaching myself how to add this link to a story. Can we please hire a Gen Z person to help us?
Get an intern. Then we have to pay them.
We do.
We're all interns.
Yeah. We're not for profit.
Although
we just drinks work. Money's fine. Like, you give your money, I'll take a drink. That's what I tell people.
Okay, I think I did it. I posted a picture of you with the dog.
Oh my goodness.
Wearing his little Rangers hat. All right, we'll see if we get a few more people. It says we have 3 people streaming, but actually, I think 3 of them are on my computer. So.
Hey, we are our best fans.
We are. Well, let's jump into it. Happy Monday, ladies. We are Double Defense. We are an all-female New York Rangers hockey podcast made up of 2 New York Rangers fans, me and Christine, and Sarah, who is a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, who also happens to live in Calgary. So Christine and I live in Southern California, as most New York Rangers fans do. So we decided we got sick of the winter. Yeah, we're gonna find them all. We decided we got sick of the winter a very long time ago and made the move to Southern California. Sarah decided she wants more winter and chooses to spend her time in Calgary. So this will be an interesting episode because maybe we'll get a little preview of the game tonight, which is Rangers Flames at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. So if anyone is actually listening to this, please feel free to give us a message on Instagram. We love hearing from you. We know that it's probably a very hectic time. We are hoping to schedule more live episodes so we know when people are actually tuning in. And we are excited to try something new with the podcast. We are available, wherever you can get your podcast, but this is sort of a new experience going live.
We are, and just to promote what we're doing very quickly, next Saturday we'll be doing kind of a meetup watch party at Champs Pub and Sports Bar out in Burbank. They're fun listeners. They chime in. We love seeing that they're watching our stuff, and we are going to attempt our first Instagram go live too. So we're a work in progress. Yeah. So come and join in on the fun with what we're learning to do along the way. So I might be in a car driving. Sarah's going to be up there, but we're going to do it. It's going to happen.
Thank you for bearing with us. We've had a good time with this. So we do have an interesting game coming up. The Rangers have been off for I think the last 9 days since the All-Star game, which we also need to discuss. The All-Star weekend, which had some ups, it had some downs, it had some very confusing moments. Ladies, what were your thoughts on All-Star weekend?
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. I didn't think anybody looked happy except Matthew Tkachuk, who looks like he's living his best life in Florida. Although I loved PK Subban as a host. Him and Paulina Gretzky are my top choices for hosting Bachelorette in hockey. And who picked the uniforms? Was a black light involved in the decision? Were they wearing those uniforms to a club after? Because they were so hard to look at.
I thought they were boring. I thought they managed to be ugly and boring at the same time.
Yeah, and like, was it a whole bunch of interns who planned the entire weekend? Like, nobody looked happy. I don't know if they were hungover or they were disappointed with what was going on. It was just very, I don't know.
Not one smile. For and when anyone was introduced, and I'm not talking about the skills competition. Now I'm talking about the actual All-Star game. Not one player, with the exception of maybe Jack Hughes, actually cracked a smile when he was announced to be there. So I don't know. Are they not incentivizing the players enough? Are they worried about getting hurt while they're there? Is it weird because they're forced to be on teams with people who are not their teammates? Or did they just really go out and party it up in South Florida the day before and they were just miserable to play?
I don't know. Christine, what do you think?
I thought the whole thing was terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
Bottom line. So I have not, to be honest, I have not watched these games in several years. So I've learned a lot from over time in just watching it. So I run home from work on Friday to kind of catch the skills thing. And again, we still have that issue of how we're going to watch stuff. So Saturday was on, Channel 7 and ESPN, but Friday was just on ESPN. So I had to find a place to watch it, which was challenge in itself when I'm paying for channels. So we always start these off with the same gripe that everyone has. So we feel you other people too that go through the same thing. So I run, and then I tuned in when they were golfing with hockey pucks and hockey sticks. So yes, that was the first part where what I just don't know what year do we just go wrong with all of this? I don't know. Years ago, it used to be straight skills with a fun twist to it. It's, the trick shots or, the things they could have fun with, but
it feels like it used to mean something more.
Yeah,
like it used to be a bigger
definitely.
deal, or maybe we're just younger and more naive. I don't know. It just felt like it had a different energy.
I
Like a
almost
dumb
wonder,
energy.
just
Well,
hearing
then-
you say it out loud, Christine, I'm almost wondering if they had like an agency who had no clue about hockey, just take over.
Well, and there were so many problems with this. One, the skills thing. So yeah, I don't know where the issues lied. Are we doing things to get more fans involved with different aspects of what they can do? But then at the same time, some of those skills things were seemed to be closed. Like there wasn't a lot of spectators watching the hockey golf thing, whatever that was. There weren't spectators, so it was closed. It was during the day. It was pre-taped. So I don't really know what the intention is to do that. And then people will argue, well, let's just let them have fun. That I don't agree with so much. This is their job and they're getting paid, to do this. So it's really not about them having fun. It's about them being chosen by fans to, because of their skills as favorites to, just to come and kind of highlight it and, yes, have fun, but don't. We just went off the rails.
What an opportunity. I gotta say, I think it's an opportunity lost by the NHL because so much of the negative feedback that I've been reading about why the NHL is starting to lose viewership is that they say that people can't connect to the players. So what a great way to connect to some of the best players in the league, like really showcase, like, what are these guys good at? Get to know them, show them at their best. But if they're just doing stupid stuff, then who's going to take away from that? Like, oh, this is a sport that I need to watch. So it just felt like just some weird choices.
And the effort wasn't there either for really anybody. So
Yeah.
So in that first thing I saw, they won a prize, like a year's worth of Chipotle, but they were just launching stuff. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any effort so much that you didn't really see it. I was confused by a lot of things on the ice from, well, I was texting you guys along the way with my play-by-plays of like, why was there a child on the ice? I'm like, what did that have to do with anything? And then going into the game itself, the 3 games, I headed over to Liz's place and she was warming because I came late to the first game and she's like, no one looks happy. And then when the guys came out, I understood. I saw exactly what she was talking about because it was all of them. And so that it took our attention away, to be honest. We ended up chatting instead of really paying attention. And then we slacked at the end and lost. We didn't even make it to the last. did we even watch? I mean, it was on, but I think we were just
No, I
chatting
think
the whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So, we didn't even pay attention. So right there is an example, like how, how are you going to keep our attention?
And it was a cool, like, I will say, one of the coolest things about it was seeing all these people in all these different jerseys, like all at the same game. Like that was very cool.
That was what
And
we were talking about.
yeah, like those were the best moments.
The
is-
fans, the fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
the
The
yeah.
diversity of the fans.
It was cool. Like when they would cut to, I mean, I hate to say it, I think the most interesting part of the game was when they cut to those scenes of everybody just walking in between periods. And you would be like, oh, look, there's a Ranger fan with a Panthers fan. There's, a Penguins fan with a Calgary Flames fan. Like that was really, really fun. Those were the pieces that felt great. It wasn't the actual gameplay itself, which just felt, I don't know, the game felt slow, all of them. It felt slow. It felt boring. Nobody was really, it was like they were playing not to get hurt.
Exactly.
I know we were talking about the commentating and you guys had a different feed than I did. And I don't think you were impressed with the commentating that you got. I had a panel from Sportsnet. It was Ron McLean, Kelly Rudy, Elliot Friedman, and I can't remember the girl's name. She wasn't that memorable, just to be honest. And Elliot was just so annoyed to be there. Like, he couldn't have been more obvious about it. And I know I was texting that to you guys as well. And he kept saying like, offside calls don't matter. Why are we calling these? And
nothing matters. Let them play.
No, yeah, and he honestly,
we saw Emily Kaplan. That's all we were talking
that's
about.
what, yeah, you were saying. And Elliot looked more miserable than the players. So I can just imagine what was happening behind the scenes to kind of showcase that. Like you usually don't see it to be, if a commentator looks that miserable, who knows what's happening there.
I just want to pause really quickly because we are getting a couple of comments, which is very exciting because we are live and I'm monitoring. I want to give a special shout out to Michelle, who is our Florida Panthers official correspondent. Hi, Michelle. That is also my mom. She is tuning in. And Jay Rose says he loves the pod. Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Please share with friends. Hopefully we will we'll be continuing to do this live again going forward.
We need Michelle to come back with her with a new drink quiz.
Oh yes,
We're
the
gonna
drink
get
quiz,
Michelle
the
live
drink-
in a few weeks. So we'll have to capitalize on that. A little short.
Jay also just said that I think the NBA is the only league that gets the All-Star game right. I'm not a big NBA fan, so I don't know much about the NBA All-Star game, but now I want to check it out. That's really interesting.
Because the other thing we'll jump into, or I will actually, is the most, I've just seen absolutely horrible, disgusting comments. I'll just leave it there on the women that are involved in this. And, look, I'm cute and nice and smiley, but, I'll keep it nice, but I disagree. But also I've learned, I had to do a little bit of research today. I love seeing the women there. I wish I would have seen them more. I didn't even really see them, to be honest. So we had 5 women, 3 from Canada and 2 from the United States team that participated this year. And and again, I haven't watched these games in a while, so I'm not clear on everything. But for those people complaining and that don't know, the women have been included and invited to the All-Star game since 2012, which is what I looked up. Is good, but I'm like, 2012 isn't that long ago either. And it was only in 2019 when they were invited to be part of the skills competition. So we're only talking a few years. And in reading some of the articles today, I thought it was really interesting because they're excited just to be more inclusive. And it's all a unified effort to get more people involved in hockey, not just young boys, but young girls too. And not just young girls and boys, but girls and boys of color and different ethnicities and diversities. And I see the women are really not struggling, but they're really anxious to promote that and get that out there. And I've learned that from going to that series game that I went to late in the year last year. So the things I was reading was pretty interesting. So I liked what I was reading, and I hope to see more involvement with the women and the All-Star game as well. So turn 5 into 10 and let's start talking. and then give people more of a voice.
Yeah, and I just hope it doesn't feel like it's kind of like tokenism, like, oh, we brought like a woman in just to
the girls
just to
don't care.
say.
The women don't care. They're included and they're making a name for themselves. And so one of the articles today, which I kind of corrected that article, she's like, that's why we're there. No, that's not why they're there. But it was it was good to see that what was her name? Nurse.
Oh yeah,
she ended up getting a job offer this weekend from the Panthers to
awesome.
kind of start, this women's program for skating, this youth program. And that was a good thing to see. So it's not why they're there, but it's good to see. Again, we've talked about this through a couple of our episodes in seeing the women coming up, being included in the organizations, not just in the background, but in the foreground. So I'm learning as well as all of us are, how important it is, and where these where they're up and coming, which organizations are feeding into promoting it. So I don't think we need so many more women correspondents that really aren't great.
yeah. I mean, I think for anyone, if you're going to be a correspondent, add to the conversation. Don't interrupt at awkward times. Don't ask dumb questions. Don't ask rhetorical questions. And I think that's some of the frustrating moments. But I see plenty of male correspondents. Not just the female correspondents doing that too.
We can tie this nicely to the wishes for the All-Star game for 2024. Abandon the interns and whoever programmed the 2023 one. I think there's so much potential. It's coming to Toronto to be hosted next year, and being hosted in an original 6 city like Toronto. There's so much opportunity to have engaging hockey content, include the landmarks that it's well known for. You're going to have a captivating and engaging broadcast, I hope. And I've seen a lot of news just the last few days on Soraya Tinker, who's like a professional women's player, and she's playing on a team in Toronto. And she also heads up Black Girl Hockey. So there's like a lot of opportunity to, expand that presence that you're talking about, Christine. And I hope we just see a lot more polished approach to 2024.
Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of do a little addendum onto that. So Sarah Nurse, I also saw that she was wearing skates decorated with the Black Girls Hockey Club. I follow them on Instagram. I think they're fabulous. And it's a nonprofit organization that really goes to build and bring in more young Black girls and women into the sport of hockey. So that was really good to see, and them promote good youthful organizations, and ones that, that really need that kind of the push too. So props to them for, doing that, for Sarah for kind of showing them off. The skates are pretty cool. I saw them on Instagram today. So
I love that.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I agree with you. Sarah. I'd like to see it more too. I don't know. Yeah. And let's get those uniforms to match. Talk about boring and blinding. They didn't even match the logo. That was the problem I had. So I think they used every color on the spectrum that shouldn't have been. They should have coordinated better. So yeah, it'll be next year's thing, and we'll see how things are different. I'd like to see how they filter up the comments so that they know what they should and should not do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they should survey everybody. They should just send out a link.
That would be lovely.
Or just send it to us. I think we can be on the production committee for next year.
Let's go put our hands up.
Yeah. NHL, if you're listening. Oh, we have 5 people watching now. Maybe it's the NHL. I always think it's going to be like Gerard Gallant, like just listening, like, oh, you guys have any line opinions for tonight? So speaking of tonight, I think we have an interesting game ahead of us. So Christine, what is our drink pairing for tonight? And for anybody who is new to the podcast, one of the things we always try to do is come up with a creative drink pairing for each game. That drink pairing depends on who we're playing, how we're feeling, but there always needs to be some kind of beverage associated with every single game. So if you go on our Instagram, we're always posting about that. We like to tag our favorite wineries and vineyards and brands in our drink pairing. So what's our pairing for tonight?
I found a nice beer, like an India Pale Ale. I do not drink IPAs, but they're a little bit bitter, and that's kind of what we need. We need to come out that way and and play with a little bit of toughness to us today, and it was a cute beer. So I like finding creative ones. It's called Game On by Level 3, I think. And I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking more of kind of a homemade coffee espresso drink, so I can be energized through this game. Not that I need more, but why not? It's Monday. So that's our pairing for today. For those who are listening, we love suggestions. We started getting them in the beginning from people, but that kind of died down. The feedback is great. The contribution is great. And we love to use it as well. So I have fun again, but sometimes my browser history doesn't look great, but I'm trying to find something creative for our games as we are winding down this second half. I try to keep them consistent with how we're feeling, how we're playing, who we're playing, and even how we're feeling as the three of us. So, so if we need an extra shot, we're going to take it. So, and I invite everyone else to join in as well. When you need an extra shot, take it.
Always. I think that's our motto.
Definitely. Yeah.
And it, so it looks like Halak is starting in goal. So that's interesting.
Yes.
What an interesting decision. He had played, I think it was against the Golden Knights, which was one of the last games prior to the All-Star break. And now we are kicking off with,
back to back.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, he had a great showing against the Golden Knights. I think he was like 5-0 in his last 5 starts for the Rangers. So he really had turned around from what was a very slow beginning to the season for him. So we're excited to see how he does tonight. I just think that's an interesting choice. I would have thought after a break like this, Shesterkin would have been in net. So I'm not sure, what's really going on there.
Well, then, that might tie into the fact that they may have all been hungover. So
maybe coming back
and
from the trip.
Okay. I was trying to kind of tweet out to Sam Rosen because he was asking questions. And the question I literally had was, are we going to see more of Halak playing? I think we are. I think we need that going into playoffs. So we're going to see him more. And how much more, I don't know.
Well, and speaking of that, during the All-Star game, there was one kind of scary moment with Shesterkin where the camera was not actually focused on him, so it was really hard to see. But he left the crease like he likes to, and he wound up falling over. And for a split second, it was like, what? Like, did he injure himself in the All-Star game of all times to injure himself? And I hope that the choice to start Halak, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I haven't heard anything about him being hurt or anything like that, but it was a little bit of a moment where you're like, oh, that just does not feel like a good injury to take right now.
Well, Calgary's not, they're not even in a wild card spot. They're battling for position right now. So perhaps the decision is based on that. Calgary's choosing to start Markstrom tonight, and he hasn't been in net since January 6th. And sorry, he has been in net. He hasn't won since January 6th against the Islanders. So I'm just wondering if it's more of like, we're playing Calgary, they're battling for wild card. Maybe they just don't feel like it's such like a serious focus for them tonight. And based on who else is playing this week. Well,
the stats today look fairly even, from their last few games and such. So I also think that plays into it. So if these games are kind of evenly matched or we kind of favor it, then use Halak, get him strengthened up, get him more confident, and see if we can get him a shutout. And then not just save the effort for Shesterkin as we kind of go down this path to the playoffs, which is going to become, stronger and stronger each week. We make it through.
Yeah, it's like now it starts to feel, now we are post All-Star break, ladies. Yeah. Like this is when it starts to get, real fun
into it. It's so much fun.
And just a reminder for anybody who's just joining us, we are two New York Rangers fan and a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. That's Sarah. So we all get along right now, but we will see how things go. And it's been interesting because of the schedule of this year. They just haven't played a lot of the teams like the Penguins multiple times, and upcoming there will be a lot more. I think in our division we are playing a lot of games upcoming, so it is going to start to get really tight. I just want to take one quick pause and mention that you can find us on Instagram as well as Twitter. Our Twitter handle for Jay, who is asking, is at @Dfense NYR. Please remember there's no E in defense. So it's at double the letter D fence NYR. So please follow us there too. We have a lot of
we like to be different.
A lot of funny commentating on Twitter as well. Do like to be different.
Yay! Yeah, I'm excited for the next few months. And not only, I also looked ahead. Not only do we have one of the tougher schedules, as has been relayed before, but we have a lot of back-to-back games this month and the next month or so. And then we play our own division. So one of the toughest weeks we're going to have is when we're actually in New York is against the Penguins, because we play all our games against Penguins in 1 week. So and that's tough, because it's nice to spread it out. We don't have the luxury of that. The NHL likes to give us back-to-back games, give us weird breaks, and I think we're their favorite, so that's fine. We can do it. We can get through it and fine. Right now, they're giving statistics of the Rangers being 70% able to make it to the playoffs. I think we're a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And so, and we just have to hold on to it. So this is where I love just kind of watching it and following I don't care about anybody else that's not in our division at the moment. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's also when we're going to start really monitoring how teams like the Devils and the Islanders are doing as well in their games. At the just before the All-Star break, the Devils weren't winning every game, but they always seemed like they were getting to overtime, so they were always sneaking an extra point in. So hopefully that sort of turns around a little bit, and we can catch a couple of breaks just on how other teams are doing against their rivals.
Are you finding you're watching the games more? Because that's what I find now. So now if our game is early and we play it and we win, now I'm all over it. I'm like, come on, you guys got to lose. Come on, you got to lose. And they're not, which is frustrating, because usually when I turn in, to it, they are losing, but they catch up and go. So that's all changing now. So we'll see. Yeah, I think they're gonna start to break. They've had good runs, both Carolina and the Devils. So I think those runs are gonna start to break, and we'll see what happens. I mean, look, the Bruins are starting to lose, but they're so far ahead of everybody. It doesn't matter right now for them. So
at this point, I'm rooting for the Bruins to just keep going and steamroll over everybody else. I mean, obviously, except for the Rangers, but let them keep steamrolling, because I think once the playoff starts, and this is something we've touched on, playoff hockey is completely different than regular season hockey, and anything can happen. And I know the Bruins are doing unbelievably well, but when it comes to the playoffs, that could turn around real quick.
Yep. I think it's always fun. It's never what it seems, and that's what I love about it. So that's going to come soon enough. So I'm excited for that too. Yeah.
So one of the other fun things that was a idea of Christine's was to do a poll a couple of, I guess, over the last week or so about Rangers that we love, past and present. So Christine, there were some interesting things that came out of that. What were you seeing?
So I put it out on several platforms on social media and got a lot of returns, and it goes beyond the Rangers too. So most of the responses were from women, from the ladies of the NHL and the ladies of the Rangers. But I just got a lot of comments, which is great. So I do have a top 10, but I'll say I'm more surprised. Okay, so for current players, they're younger. I was kind of surprised at who wasn't there. I mean, I think, well, first and foremost, nobody chose just Durkin. So did we all just take it for granted? I mean, he is everybody's favorite player. He's the best player on the team. He's the one that wins for everybody, and he wasn't chosen at all. So, I would let you guess, but let's see. I'll go top 10. I'll start with the bottom, which is Liz's vote, actually, because it's a combination of two people. So we couldn't have just the one, like the other two are on the list separately, but together they are Krygenabad, and that came in at number 10. And this is all our votes. We didn't really get more than 10 of these people, with Carjanabad being that 10th person.
Carjanabad is its own entity.
It's its own vehicle. And if you look, there's a cute video with BC today where he's asked a bunch of questions, and they were asked about the best bromance. And so he thinks it's him and Trocheck. So
it is not. It is not. And I will die on that hill.
I think he's trying to vote himself in and try to make a run for a bromance there between the two of them, since they've known each other so long. It's cute. With that, actually BC and Trocheck actually tied for 9th or 8th position there. So I'm kind of going backwards. So that was good. And then Kako and Miller were tied for 6th, and 6th place there. Fox on his own is in
Milko
5th position. And Lindgren was in 4th. Tied for 2nd was Mika and Panarin. And then our number 1 pick for, current all-time favorite is Kreider. So that was good. When it went out to the NHL, there you go. I don't have numbers on it. When it went out to just other people, I had to look some of these guys up, but a lot of these young guys from the Kraken were the kind of heavy favorites from.
Have you seen them? They're the Kraken, they happen to be a very good looking team.
Yeah. So a lot of the Kraken players were kind of mentioned when it went out to the regular NHL favorites and stuff. So that was kind of fun to kind of look some of these guys up. I'm not so familiar with everybody on the other teams, but this is how we learn, and I love it. Our top all-time favorites, that went out again. There was a huge list. It was all over the place. So anybody that kind of voted more than once kind of got on this list. So, and it goes from, let's see, can we start from the top or the bottom? Your choice.
I say go from the bottom and go up to top.
Go up for the top. So down on the bottom, we have Kreider, because some of these people are new to hockey. So we're going to see 1 or 2 younger people in there too. And we have Kreider and we have Bobby Orr. Henrik is kind of at the bottom too, as well.
You're saying the bottom of the best though. So it's not like they're the bottom of anybody's list. These are the top. Yeah, these are the top picks.
These are the top. So it's starting from the 10th, going all the way up to the most voted of all-time favorites, which I'm sure we can try to guess. So we have Kreider, and going up, Kreider, or we have Henrik, Gilbert was on there. Ron Duguay was on there. Then we have this great big tie for 3rd. So a lot of these came in. It was Graves, Gretzky, Yager.
3rd? Gretzky? Oh, sorry.
And Bukaboom.
Oh man, Bukaboom.
In 3rd, so those names came out. And then any guess for number 2? So we have 2 and 1. I'll let you try to guess those 2.
I'm gonna guess Mike Richter.
Richter's number 2.
Messier?
Yes. Richter
Messier has to be 1. He has to be 1.
Who?
Messier.
Mark Messier.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he came out as number 1. So, but they were like a lot of goalies: Forsberg, Osgood, Zook, Schmidt. Let's see. Just they were all over the place with their favorites, which is fun to see too. So and again, look at all the favorites that weren't there, and even current favorites. Where's Jack Hughes? Oh, I think Jack Hughes actually got 1 vote, in here. But why were there no McKinnons and Connor McDavid's? I mean, none of those, they're not being voted, or they just didn't respond, those fans, I guess. So it was curious to see who wasn't on these lists and who was. So, and it's cute because you got the newer people who are getting into hockey, which I love to see. And then you hear, someone who's like, my all-time favorite is Phil Esposito. And I'm like, yeah, so that's good. I'm like, I like seeing that. So that was really fun. So I will do polls along the way. So those are fun to do. We all learn from doing this as well. So it's really fun, kind of little experiment to do and throw out fun things, because these are fun. It kind of shows you it surprised me that Shesterkin wasn't chosen at all by anybody that responded.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I wonder if there is sort of a sense of, we took him a little bit for granted. And this year, he hasn't been having like the same kind of stellar year that he had last year. So maybe he just wasn't first and foremost on people's minds. But that's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get him in a poll. I'll be strategic about that for next time. Who's your favorite goalie? Although there were a lot of these guys were goalies that were coming out, which is kind of cool.
Well, I finally made my list because it took me forever. I was like, it really bothered me, honestly, for days. I was like, I don't even know how to answer this question. Like, there's so many. Like, I don't leave anybody out, but ultimately people will be left out. But most of my list is goalie. Well, it's not most, but a good chunk of my list is goalies. Like Gretzky, regardless of whatever team he was on, definitely my all-time favorite player. Yager, another Ranger at one point. Mario Lemieux, Jeremy Roenick, Doug Gilmour, Tim Thomas, Darcy Tucker, Martin Brodeur, and Patrick Roy. I used to love.
That's a good list.
Yeah, I used to love watching Patrick Roy just like get so angry. Like there's just something so sexy about it. I don't even think he's that hot. It was just like his reaction, I love him. I don't know what it is. He's hot-headed. I think that's probably what it is. And then right now, I mean, I have to say Crosby, but like that
you don't have to actually.
But I feel
actually
like
pass on him.
I love him. He's a great player, but I've said it before. I do think that ship is sailing. Like he's looking tired, and I think he's got.
I think he's top of my list for my least favorite player.
we did notice. It's funny. We did notice a resemblance in a way between Crosby and Messier. So, I don't know if it's their lips, it's their bald head. Well, Crosby's not bald, but when he's got a helmet on, so.
We should talk about this more on our trip because I don't want to talk about it while we're recording, but I could throw some comments about that to that comparison.
Well, they were side by side, like on Saturday. It was noticeable. So, and then for me too, I have a friend who looks just like the two of them. So there was a third person in there too.
That's
so
my biggest resemblance that I was sharing with Christine when we were watching Crosby play. Do you remember the animated movie Charlotte's Web?
No,
do you remember the rat? That's the rat.
Oh my God.
For anybody who's only listening to this on audio only, just do a quick
That's
Google.
clear as day there.
His name is Templeton. That is definitely Sidney Crosby, especially with the little mustache that Sidney is rocking right now. So that is.
I didn't see it as much over the weekend, but maybe I've just stopped looking at it. I was more so distracted by the whole child on the ice part.
That's
and as a number of people on Twitter pointed out, so that was Ovechkin's son, who's 4. He has more goals this season than Sammy Blais.
Yes.
A number of people have pointed out. So
Bobby Lou or Roberto Luongo, however you want to refer to him, was in net, but was I just the only person who didn't notice anybody else of his age on the ice all weekend? Wasn't that kind of weird?
I still don't even understand why any of that happened. So, and it's adding to the fuel. I think the consensus we've seen is that really nothing was good about this year's All-Star game, except for the fact it's over now. So,
yes, thank God.
And I think halfway through they shifted that they were announcing Toronto and that Justin Bieber is going to be there. So I think somewhere along the line in the middle of the game they shifted the attention. I mean, again, the other thing too, let me just tell you that the broadcasting, Liz and I were sitting there watching, and we were watching the ESPN. They're like, and now performing your favorite band, and it went right to commercial. So we have no idea who it was.
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked a number of times on this podcast about the issues with rights and who has what. So the game simultaneously aired in the US, it was on ABC and it was on ESPN Plus. I subscribed to ESPN Plus. I pay separately for it. I figured, okay, if I'm going to have the better experience, it's going to be watching it through there. Instead, we didn't get to see any of the performances. They cut to a commercial break where you didn't see anything. And I think Christine and I were talking, and then I think we realized we're like, it's been 15 minutes. How come this game hasn't come back? But everybody who was watching ABC got to see the full performance. So
oh my God.
I don't know if that's a rights issue or what, but as a viewer, that was a very frustrating experience.
But it's all Disney. How does it matter which rights?
It's an excellent question.
I don't know.
You would
No
think that
idea.
you would think we might have an inkling.
The way,
Yeah, I don't
the way
know.
it cut to commercial was just so annoying.
Oh my God.
We should have drank during that game. We didn't, but
We're being very good. We are we're health conscious now. So
I know, until Saturday when that all changes.
so speaking of Saturday, and as we get closer to the game, we do have to wrap this up because I know that people want to turn on the game as we do. We are going to be, for anybody in the Southern California area, we are going to be at Champs Pub in Burbank on Saturday, February 11th at 4. Probably get there a little bit early. We'll have some drinks. Please come out. Please tell your friends if you are in this part of town. And then watch out New York for Double Dfense.
We're coming for you.
We are coming. We are coming in mid-March. So we will post more information. We're going to do some meetups. It'll be a lot of fun. And for all of the people who tuned in to our first official live
Thank you.
YouTube, thank you so much. There are 5 people watching now. One of them is me. One of them is my mom. So to the 3 other people who I don't know, thank you. We will do this more often. This episode will also be available as a regular podcast that we will share with you very shortly. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, everybody.
And let's go Rangers. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yay.
Bye, ladies. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.